We know from a growing body of research literature that representative toys do promote positive friendship intentions in the same way that books and television may do, in line with that social model of disability. This research tells us something important. It tells us that imaginary play with these toys increases those positive friendship intentions, and it tends to do that by allowing children to see themselves in the place of others. The more children see disability represented positively in their environment, the more likely they will be to relate to this, and in turn, the more likely they will be to form positive friendships. When the pandemic was at its height in 2021, we gathered data from 145 children in 3 Yorkshire primary schools. The children we worked with visited an exhibition of 12 images that represented hypothetical toys that had been changed in some way to represent disabled characters. For example, Olaf from Frozen with a cochlear implant, or Hulk with a diabetic line. Most of these were prototype toys that weren't on the market. Before and after the exhibition, we asked the children to write some stories for us about the characters that they saw in that exhibition. We got back almost 300 stories, and we then set about transcribing the stories and coding them thematically. We found themes around relationships, disability, the social model and the medical model. Some children were reporting that their character had been broken in some way, and some children were describing the fun and adventurous activities that they could have with one another. We followed up that pilot research in a study in Scotland. In this study, we had data from 5 schools in Edinburgh. We gathered data from 293 children aged 7 to 11 years. We collected data before and after they took part in the exhibition to see how their attitudes may change. We also added some extra measures before the exhibition. We wanted to know about their levels of empathy, friendship intentions towards disabled children, and their understanding of disability. We found some marked differences across time points in terms of how children were defining disability. It was about not having the same ability as normal people, about not being able to do things, about having a handicap, in their words. It was sad, and it was being less able. After the exhibition activities, the focus was on being different. It was about processing things in a different way. One of the children said, "It's not negative, but it's just different." The emphasis there is just different. So we can see that change there. We found that children were more able to identify a person with a disability following the exhibition, that they had more positive feelings towards them, and they were more likely to behave positively towards them. We also saw these changes in feelings, relationships, and language in the study following the exhibition. Language is key here. We need to think carefully about how we talk about and present disability, maintaining that focus on the social rather than the medical model. We appreciate that this can be challenging, and that often we're worried about getting it wrong. The Chatty pack that we have developed contains a series of activities and resources for practitioners to use in education settings, and this includes guidance on language use.
The Big Chatty pack has been fully mapped to the Scottish Curriculum for Excellence for second level learners. We look closely at each activity and how it maps to the English literacy, numeracy, and the expressive arts, as well as health and well-being and religious and moral education. The resources may also be used alongside the National Framework for Inclusion for Scotland, with reflective questions for practitioners to consider who is represented in classrooms, who is able to meaningfully participate, and creating dialogue between learners to enable connections and a sense of belonging to the classroom. The following 2 videos will take you through these resources in detail, as well as giving guidance on how to look at representation within your own schools and classrooms. We hope you find these helpful.